Well, thank you, friend. Shabbat Shalom, and greetings to you all. How was your what used to be called Columbus Day to the south, and as far as I know, was still Thanksgiving in the north? Did you get to see friends and family? I certainly hope so. Holidays are a time for gathering, and it might have been the first time in a year, and if it was, you certainly had something to celebrate. It is always a special time when we get to be with our friends. A true friend is the greatest of all blessings, and that which we take the least care of all to acquire. And we love life in all the ways that we live it, each of us as individuals, whether alone or with others. But we especially thrive on the gathering times we have and that we get, whether it is with friends or with family. Just like when we come together monthly or weekly as we gather in a group celebrating common belief and faith. As a community, a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love, a chavura of fellowship, expressing our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes. It just unites us all in this community house of spirit, Betruach, sharing, bringing light, keeping fear at bay. There's a lot of fear right now. And even though together we are always going to be individuals in our approach and stay an individual, each connecting in his or her own special way. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody you know. Some physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to come gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Hine Matov. Shevet Achi Gam Yah. Hine Matov. Shevet Achi Gam Yah. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. Let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your own personal sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in. We all believe in something. It is a part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It is your goodwill. And goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. It's your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives. So let's take the time now. Use that intention. Send some of that goodwill, some light, some healing out to whoever you know that needs it. Healing and renewal for everybody. It floats through space, finding those in need, so send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people, it's for our pets. Last week we did the prayers for pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world, the tikkun olam. It's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. It is our task to help heal the world. Not something we ever complete. It's an ongoing task to be dealt with in this lifetime. It's for every lifetime. And we must each do our own part. Each do what we can to improve and change our own little corner of the world. Because as we change ourselves, we change our conditions and we change life. Now, part of that healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everyone. They don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers for dear Daniel, for Aurelia and Yosef, for Snoop, Connie and James, for our great friend Dave, for the sky, for all our animal friends everywhere, for everyone you know in need, for the whole world, for the bee. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, the goodwill and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. Me, Shabbat, Avotenu, Makor, Limotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing. It we call upon God to heal as He's healed before. Misha Baruch, may He who blessed, because all healing is a blessing. So let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now we're but a week or two from having read about, the fall from grace, the great reminder of the exile from the garden. And we spend our lives striving to return to perfection. It's not striving to be perfect that produces transformation, and it's not feeling powerful and dominating others that produces transformation. No. Transformation comes from self-knowledge and awareness. Gifts we were given by the bite of the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden. Now, biblical scholars both, Thomas Jefferson once wrote to James Madison, I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. This week, we read about the beginning of the search for freedom. And it is dangerous, and it ends in slavery that we are still fighting to free ourselves from. As we now meet a family we're going to learn an awful lot about, the family of Abraham. Now, Abraham is seen as the first who fought for free choice, free worship. As we follow this family through time, we see the descent from freedom to slavery, as we saw the descent of man from Eden. This week we read, Lecha Go, you go. Now last week we read the first story of faith, Noah. He accepted the word of God. He built a big box, entered it, brought his family with him. He let someone seal him in, and he rode the waves where the waves took him. There was no rudder, no steering, no sail, no personal control. That goes beyond obedience to faith. This time we begin the stories about someone who was obedient, but not necessarily faithful. He hears and obeys the words of God, but is in control of his actions the whole time, as he schemes and lies. And that might not be faith. Last week we saw the first of God's 4 covenants with man. The Noahic covenant with the rainbow as evidence. This week we're going to see the second, the Abrahamic covenant with circumcision as evidence. This is another jam-packed reading, beginning with God calling out to Abraham, his journey to Egypt and what happened there, his splitting from Lot, which will lead to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah next week, his encounter with a very special high priest of Gellman, the changing of his and his wife's names, and the birth of his first son, Ishmael. We do not know a lot about Abraham. We know of no actual spiritual practice of Abraham, but we do know he was certainly not a follower of the great Noahic laws. And if you forgot, they are embrace the relevance of oneness, do not profane it. The value of human life cannot be measured, therefore do not murder. Do not eat flesh from a living animal because it contains the life force of blood. Respect other people's property, so don't steal. No incest, rape, or adultery. And ensure justice in the world. 7 little laws. Now, in reality, not too many of the biblical characters we revere followed any of them too well. But that doesn't mean you can't. You could. They're easy, they're logical, they're built on decency and balance. Live by them, and you cannot go wrong. Now, one of the great tools of time and scholarship, just look at the Talmud. Thousands and thousands of pages of commentary and interpretation of this relatively small book in comparison. So one of those tools was Midrashim, the stories of explanation. And many of those stories have taken on lives of their own as if they are true, factual tales. Right? People will recite them as if it was true. A great one of Moses is going to be coming up to explain a part in Exodus. And there's an equally fantastic one explaining Abraham being the first monotheist and founder of Judaism. Now, this is a tale right out of Mr. Peabody's Improbable History. And Peabody, Sherman, and you have hopped in the Wayback Machine and set the date for approximately 1995 before the Common Era, 4,100 years ago. Dress carefully because you can't be sure how much climate change has occurred. This tale comes from Midrashim Genesis Rabbah 38:13 and is also featured very prominently in the Quran. So the story goes, it's all about Abraham working in his dad Terah's shop. So Terah, Abraham's father, was an idol manufacturer who once went away, left Abraham in charge of the store. Man walked in and wanted to buy an idol. Abraham asked him how old he was, and the man responded, 50 years old. Abraham then said, you're 50 years old, you would worship a day-old statue? At this point, the man left ashamed. Later, a woman walked into the store and wanted to make an offering to the idols. So Abraham took a stick, smashed the idols, and placed the stick in the hands of the largest idol. When Terah returned, he asked Abraham what happened to all the idols, and Abraham told him that a woman came in to make an offering to the idols, and the idols argued about which one should eat the offering first. Then the largest idol took the stick and smashed all the other idols. Well, Terah responded by saying, they're only statues. They have no knowledge. They can't move. Whereupon Abraham responded by saying that you deny their knowledge, but you worship them. From this story, we now know that Abraham knew idols were not gods and there was only one God, and so he was the first monotheist. Now, in reality, ancient man actually never did worship idols. The idols were simply representations of natural occurring events, wind, rain, lightning. People will tell you this Midrash story as if it were the gospel truth. And that's what the Midrash can do. It fills in the blanks. Okay. So we're immediately introduced to a crucial biblical formula that's going to be repeated over and over again. Genesis 12:1, and the Lord said to Abram, go you go, Lech Lecha, from your land and from your birthplace and from your father's house to the land that I'll show you. Well, where's he to go? To the land that I'll show you. Is that somewhere over the rainbow? That is, he must leave his homeland without knowing what he's giving it up for. Now, this pattern's going to be repeated when he's commanded to sacrifice Isaac. When God says, take your son, your only one, whom you love, Isaac, where's he to sacrifice him? On one of the mountains that I'll say to you. Friends, we tend to be driven by one of two forces in life. We either take steps to go to something or to get away from something. And those who are motivated by leaving often do not know where they are going in life, as a result of which any road can take them there. I've been traveling on a wing and a prayer, on the skin of my teeth, by the breath of a hair, traveling where the four winds blow, with the sun on my face and the ice and the snow. Oh Lord, we pay the price with the spin of the wheel, with the roll of the dice. Ah, yeah, you pay your fare, and if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Now, there's a great question. Where are you going? Do you know? Do you have goals? Aspirations? Are you reaching for something? Many whose life has been a path of leaving have a much harder time formulating goals. Their energy went into leaving, not going. They do not plan the same way. Abraham is leaving, but he does not know where he is going yet. Now, the emphatic double verb that opens this parsha is used for emphasis. Go, you go, is a precursor to the double name calling we're going to begin to hear shortly, which marks defining moments in the lives of biblical characters. Now, we have to understand every section of the Torah that we read with an awareness of what has preceded it and what will come after it. It is an amazingly unusual book in that way, if no other. So during his wandering, there's a famine, and he and his wife head to Egypt. Kind of like a precursor to what will happen with his descendants during a different period of famine. Genesis 12:11. And it was when he was close to coming to Egypt that he said to Sarai, his wife, here, I know that you're a beautiful one. And it will be when the Egyptians see you that they'll say, This is his wife, and they'll kill me and keep you alive. Say you're my sister, so that it will be good for me on your account, and I'll stay alive because of you. Well, this is a pretty big lie. Telling his wife to pretend she's not his wife but his sister, which actually was true, but we'll get to that another time. But it is deceit. And there's no historical evidence that this ever happened. But it is something that would be common in war settings, but this was not war. So where was his faith? He left his home, went to a land he did not know he was going to go to, but he's afraid now. Genesis 12:17. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house, big plagues, over the matter of Sarai, Abraham's wife. And Pharaoh called Abraham and said, "What's this you've done to me? Why didn't you tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she's my sister? So I took her for a wife for myself. Now here's your wife. Take her and go." Pharaoh has explained that he followed the Noahic laws. No adultery. Abraham was given great riches in exchange for Sarah, almost as if he sold her. It's all described here. But when Pharaoh learns the truth, he throws him out for his deception. The things he accuses the Egyptians of, they never did. Now, one of the things he inquired in Egypt was a maid for Sarai, his wife, and her name was Hagar. And she may have turned out to be the one true love of his life, and we're going to see that in a week or so. Genesis 16:1. And Abraham's wife Sarai had not given birth by him. She had an Egyptian maid, and her name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abraham, "Here, the Lord has held me back from giving birth. Come to my maid. Maybe I'll get childed through her." And Abraham listened to Sarah's voice. Well, he married Hagar because they start referring to Hagar as his wife. And she had Ishmael. But that is another story. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your lives, the life of everybody you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free. Be free. Honor your freedom. Be well. Be happy. Be blessed. Share and honor the light, and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send to everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, we're a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. So let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive and learn to love. Open your hearts and honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have and enjoy your journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our efforts to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion everything that happens in our lives. It is our intention, our Kavanaugh, our cause, our effect. Everything's linked. As I said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness, but do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be a forgiving and compassionate person, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people, and the world just as they are? Can you accept life just as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. And remember to have faith, an unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principle of love and of all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart and quiet your mind, because the deepest source of your real power lies in your consciousness and your ability to be mindful and aware and present in all of life's circumstances. Embrace love, not fear. Embrace forgiveness, not anger. And be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief. Do not accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together and we help each other. We are each of us simply trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them and tell them what they mean. And remember, you're never alone on your journey to your promised land. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive. Keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. And listen for that voice of God. He, she, it is talking to you all the time. Turn off the do not disturb notice and listen. And when called, go. You go. Sometimes it ain't easy, boy. Hold out of bed. Shake the cobwebs hanging from your head. But you were born to be in the human race. If you stop moving, you're gonna finish in last place. You've gotta go, go, go. Go cat, go cat, go. Go. Go cat, go, but go somewhere, not just from something. Well, thank you for joining me, my friends. Keep sharing the light. Keep exercising forgiveness and be thankful. Be gracious, be kind, be loving. Believe in yourself and have a little faith and continue to spread a little goodwill to the world. And continue to always be the miracle in someone's life. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care. Bye.